Hi, listeners, viewers. Thank you for tuning in, wherever you are these days. The season's looming, and we've all been away on some type of break. I've just come back from Crete, attending my nephew's wedding. We've got Howard back off loan, back off holiday. Hi. How are you, Howard?
I'm good, thank you.
Where have you been, and where are you going next?
We went to Italy for a wedding, which was amazing. We've just got back from Spain, where we had time with the kids away on the beach, a beach holiday. And then we're going to America in a couple of days' time. So busy schedule.
Well done. And Tom, as ever, in the office side of things. Tom, you've been away, but it was a bit more disappointing, wasn't it, than what we've had sunshine-wise?
We went down to Cornwall, down to Perranporth, and we had... I think we went down right after the heat wave finished, and we had 4 days of solid rain, and then came back just as it was perking up again. So it was a sunny, it was a rainy holiday, which involved playing games in a chalet, and a couple of attempts at doing the old British holiday. I am going to go to the beach in the rain, kind of spirit. But and then we got a new puppy on Wednesday as well.
So brilliant name,
Dixie.
That's not a Tottenham name.
No, she's a girl, and I was thinking Harriet or something like that. But in the end, it had to be anything that wasn't my daughter's suggestion of carrot, which we just kind of had to veto, really. So anything that wasn't carrot is a bonus, really. And we eventually managed to.
That's it. So Dixie is a girl. Let's get this right.
She's a golden lab, Labradoodle cross.
Fantastic. Okay, so as I said, the season is nearing. I think we've had a good break, haven't we, from qualifying for the Champions League. It's obvious that Mr. Conte has given the hierarchy at Tottenham some confidence to go out and spend some money and buy players in. So what about pre-season? How have you seen much of it on your screen?
I saw the game against Rangers last weekend, which I thought was a pretty good game.
Good.
And we were one down, but we came back from that. But at one point, we had 10 players on one side playing who were all signed during this year.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that's through last season and now this break.
We bought 2 in January, both who were in the regularly in the first team, and then we got 6 new signings and a couple of others that were potential.
Fantastic.
And but as soon as I got to seeing that point, my concern was, I go back to when we spent the Bale money.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Daniel at the time thought he was a kid in a candy store, and he bought every player that was going.
Yeah.
In fact, of them, the only one who really became a star was Ericsson, and why didn't we bring him back this time? I don't know. But
and Tom, you've got some thoughts about pre-season.
Yeah, like Howard, I thought the Rangers game was a good run out. I think it seems like a lot of the games we played so far seem to be very much Conte looking to get some real kind of physical matches in place before the start of the season. Rangers are, I think their season's literally about to start. You know, they're ready to go, and they wanted to put on a show for their fans. And I think that we put on a really good account from what I saw. And Kane, just unreal. I think, but both his goals were great finishes. But his first one in particular, the amount of times we've seen him kind of draw the defender like that and then just bend it in the far corner. I think the difference between this time last year and now in terms of pre-season, it just feels really, really positive. This time last year, Kane was agitating for a move. The press were desperately trying to sell him for us, and we'd had the whole manager shambles over the summer. And the club felt directionless. So whereas now I feel like we really, really, really got reason not to be optimistic this season. And I can't wait till next Saturday to be back.
Howard, Conte is looking like the real deal. Obviously, the Champions League qualification, but the way they've used that to bring in new players, and none of us are that clever watching world football to see and understand everyone that is brought in. But has anyone particularly impressed you at what you've seen so far?
Well, he was actually bought last year, but it was injured a lot of the time. It's Romero.
Yeah.
Really looks like such a quality defender. And he's putting his timing of putting his foot in is amazing. And I imagine that during the season we might give away two or three penalties that aren't penalties, but that's the way it looked.
Yeah. So defensively, we've looked sound. With
so.
even when we're playing squad players, and I see Rodon looks like he's leaving.
Yeah.
Something strange on that one, isn't there? Something strange on Rodon. Why he's not been playing and now he's sort of eased out. It's
he's had 3 managers, hasn't he? And none of them have really given him much of a run.
And yet when he plays for Wales, he looks not the finished article. Of course, no one is that young, but he looks like he's got something to add to the squad at least, doesn't he? Davies, new contract.
Yeah, I think he earned that last year. He was very good.
Yeah, exactly. So, so the season not far away. Our first game is against Southampton. The Saints, yeah. So, and also at every start of the season, there's typical sayings that we all use. And I know Howard and his family and his friends have got one particular saying. So this is what you and Terry, your longest friend, Howard, what do you say to each other before a season starts?
We spend many hours discussing the rumours that we've heard in this paper and that TV and that radio about players who are coming in that we know nothing about. But nonetheless, we've talked ourselves into it must be good if they're going to cost that much money. We've done a good job getting him in. And well, basically, now that we've got these players lined up, the title's ours.
That's the line, the title's ours. Yep. And just for those new listeners amongst us, and I know that there's quite a few, certainly in the last couple of months, Howard's son is Brett Goldstein, and he's an actor and a scriptwriter on Ted Lasso, which is a particularly enjoyable program. They've finished two series, Howard, and I think the third one's finished, but it's not put out yet, is it?
That's right. The third one's nearly finished.
Nearly finished. Okay. Would Ted Lasso or Roy Kent, would they have some sayings about this season?
They'd have said believe.
Believe. It's the sign in the dressing room, isn't it? Yep. Believe.
Yeah.
So the Rangers games, for instance, pre-season takes me back to pre-seasons I've had. In my very early days, we went up to Scotland every other year, and the in-between years, Glasgow Rangers came to visit us. But Bill Nicholson's arrangements were such that we played Glasgow Rangers on the Saturday, and then unbelievably in pre-season, when you're training so hard, normally in hot weather, we would also then play Celtic the next day. And as you hit upon there, Howard, Scotland is always a week in front of us with their start of their season and therefore their fitness. So we would do relatively well against Glasgow Rangers on the Saturday. And then the Sunday, we would get run off our legs by a Celtic team who were, 67 European champions. And so when I've got in 69, 70, they were coming, down from that level, but still wonderful players, Jimmy Johnson and Lennox and Murdoch. Wow. What Billy McNeil, the captain, what players they had, what a team. So our Scottish pre-seasons, and that's as far as we travelled. We didn't go to Korea or Australia and places like that. We only went to those type of countries end of season. And pre-season was all about the food, the air. We needed to not be in anything new. Well, I tell you what, Bill, 2 games in 2 days was new, and we didn't take kindly to that. And we were always asking him questions. Why did we do it, Bill? Why are you putting us in for this? And I think, you know what? I think he wanted us to get beat the second game. I think he wanted us beat to maybe bring us down. And talking about Bill Nicholson, I had the pleasure and the honour of playing with Ron Henry, who played left back in Bill's double team. Ron, imagine this happening these days, won the double, had a couple more years in the team, then eventually gets too old to keep his place. And then he played for the reserves. I think he then becomes semi-pro. And then he even went into the third team, which was called the A team, played in the Metropolitan League. And I was coming up the other way. So we had a season together in the Metropolitan League, and therefore we spent a lot of hours on the coach traveling up and down motorways. And so it was an honor to play with Ron in midfield. And I said to him, bearing in mind the double team won their first 12 games, Ron, tell me about pre-season. The pre-season before the double. And I'm expecting him to say everything was fine, everything was smooth. We drifted, just led ourselves into the season. He said we were very, very average. So can we take pre-season results with any seriousness? No. I think it's about the players getting to know each other, especially this group of players, and the fitness and not playing people when they're injured. The other thing I asked Ron, within the time that, we were traveling, Ron, how did you know when you stopped being, your body was not ready to play at the top level anymore? And he thought about it and he said, Steve, this happened in games and in training. And I would just fall over with no one near me. I'd get up embarrassed. People would normally take the rise out of you if you go to ground too easy. He said, it was almost as if I didn't have control of my legs. So I waited for that moment when that started happening to me, and it only happened a couple of times in training, but never in games. So there's a clue there to when your body's giving way. So chaps, can I ask you about the latest football? Have you been watching any of that?
I've watched the last couple of games.
I watched, last couple.
Sorry.
And you both watched a couple of games. So any comment from you two? Howard?
For me, I think it's been very exciting to watch. And some of it is very good playing as well. But I think the one area where they desperately can't compete with men is the goalkeeper. Whether it's just their size or whatever it is. A lot of the goals that they scored for us, the decent keeper would have saved. And I think that's a lot of it.
I can see Tom nodding his head. You agree with that, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as Howard says, a lot of the goals, just you think a larger, naturally larger male goalkeeper would be reaching areas before, if they're not right in the top corner. Whereas a lot of the goals would normally be saved, I think, by a larger goalkeeper with more reach. And it does beg the question whether the goals should be a slightly different size in the women's game, possibly.
I never thought of that. I like that. That's a good idea, Tom.
But that third goal the other evening, though, no one was saving that. The back heel.
No.
Lovely.
No. I watched bits and pieces that were on in airport lounges or wherever, or through my lounge when I'm walking through. And I definitely think it's improving. I think the play is smoother. I think they find each other a lot better than what I remember 2 or 3 years ago. I particularly like midfield players when they bend their knees. So the ball's played to them from, say, a back player, and they turn it with they're not upright and like a plank turning with the ball. They're putting some feeling into the ball through their knees, and then passing it on. So I like the tempo more. I like the body shape more. But you're right, Howard. The goalkeeping leaves something to be desired, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, okay. Just want to hit on something there. Sad news. Not very sad news that the Wags war is over, and Rooney was the winner. But what is sad news? Terry Neill passing. Terry Neill. Everyone out there will have your own opinion, being an Arsenal man and all that goes with that. Howard, give me your opinion as a Spurs supporter through that era.
Well, it's an era that was the most important, most impressionable to me as a supporter. I mean, we lived and bred the club then at that time. We were all stunned when Billy Nick retired, and further stunned when the board said to him, "Here's your payoff, 10 quid and go away," sort of thing.
Yeah, was it that much?
Well, something like that.
Yeah.
But you may recall signing the book by Norman Giller about 70 years of Spurs.
Yes.
You gave to me.
Absolutely.
I'm reading that. I'm reading that this week as it happens. So I read the whole bit of Terry Neill's reign.
Yeah.
And I think we've spoken about it before. And you the players weren't that concerned with what was going on in the offices. It was the board who made the decisions about getting Bill Nick out and bringing Terry Neill in.
Yeah.
And
look.
Looking fair to Terry Neill, he never had a chance at Tottenham. Never had a chance.
No, the supporters weren't really having him, were they?
No.
The other group that were not having him was because I found this very surprising when I found this fact. Terry Neill was 34 years of age when he took over our team, and surprising appointment. And the older players in our squad weren't really having him. Now, whether that was because they didn't respect him as a player or something had gone on in matches, I do not know. But okay, Pat Jennings wasn't in that older group. And I spoke to Pat today about Terry Neill, and he started in the Northern Ireland team, I think about 64. So Pat had probably 10 years with him, both as a player. He was the captain of Northern Ireland. Terry Neill actually scored a famous goal in a 1-0 win over England, which didn't happen very often. So Pat was I'm not saying Pat was a friend of him, but Pat knew him and respected him. But the older players than Pat really struggled with Terry Neill. From a personal point of view, I have to say that he did not do my career any harm whatsoever. We were struggling as a team. I was under a bit of a cloud and I never got in front of the ball. So he loosened up my game. He gave me more freedom to get forward. And he allowed me to get some confidence back into my game. And therefore, I think he helped my career along. And on his first day of training, everyone's sort of not sure what's going to happen, who's he going to like, not like, etc. And as ever, we went out onto the track and to start doing a warm-up and doing some runs. And Terry was talking to me in this Irish accent. Steve, to the front. And he used his hands, like obviously he wanted me to go to the front. So I did. And therefore, the instructions were coming to me about how quick we had to do the next lap, 65 seconds or whatever. I just couldn't understand him. I could not understand his Irish accent. And it's not like I wasn't used to it because, up to that point, obviously, Pat Jennings was at the club. So whether Terry was from a different part of Ireland, I don't know. But But I've spoken to Garth Crooks today, who worked on a radio show with Terry Neill and very much liked him. And I don't know the link with Paul Miller, Maxi Miller, but he sent me a message to say, what about Terry Neill's passing and how sorry he was and how much he respected him. So from a young player's point of view, he was fine. From the more experienced players, they didn't quite take to him. And maybe there was some outside reasons for that. But yeah. Howard, coming back to Ted Lasso and your son, Brett, something happened in the newspapers over the last few days. Can you tell us about?
Somebody sent us a piece of paper, an envelope, and when we opened it, there was a crossword puzzle in it. And the crossword puzzle was from the Wall Street Journal, so it's pretty upmarket, tough stuff. And the clue for 26 across was Brett Goldstein's name in Ted Lasso.
Wow. In the Wall Street Journal.
In the Wall Street Journal. That
must make you and Vivian very proud.
And the day before, we had been to see Thor, the Marvel Comics film,
yes,
which the budget was $450 million, so it's a bit of a thing.
Substantial.
And we were told to watch the film, but we must stay for the closing credits, which is what we did.
Okay. And
it's all based on the Greek mythologies from the past. And Russell Crowe playing Zeus says to the camera, "Nobody respects the gods these days. My son Hercules will have to deal with it." And the camera pans round, and this character stands up and says, "I will avenge you, father," whatever it is he said. And it's Brett.
Wow.
And basically what they do is they decide who's going to be the star of the next film.
And introduce them that way.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, tell him congratulations from us, Howard.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Forget Roy Kent. Has Brett Goldstein got any sayings about our hopes and our prayers for this season?
He hasn't mentioned them to me if he has.
Love it. So thank you very much, chaps. To finish off, I'm going to just this podcast is done on Friday night. It'll probably get put out by lunchtime on Saturday. Saturday is the day where we play Roma, and of course on Sunday is the Wembley Euro final against Germany. I on Saturday night am doing a talk, and I'm really looking forward to it. Tom, do you know why I'm looking forward to it?
Because I'm going to be introducing you.
You're introducing me, and I'm going to meet you and maybe your family that evening. So Whitchurch has a Reading postcode. How that works, I'm not sure. It's a Reading postcode, but it's on my way to Winchester. So it's about 10 miles away from Winchester, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that.
So it's just off the A34 where I'm going, and it's a really good journey. Bearing in mind there's train strikes tomorrow and all sorts of traffic problems. Hopefully I miss all that. And then later on Friday, the 12th of August, I'm doing a theatre talk in Thetford, Norfolk. And I don't think I've ever been to Norfolk before to do a Spurs show, if you like. So I'm really looking forward to that. And the fact it's in the theatre, that's not so normal either. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And got some guests with me on that one. And Paul Coit is going to be doing the questions and the talk. And there's a question for you too. The 1981 FA Cup final against Man City, the referee is going to be on stage with me. Keith Hackett. Well done, Tom. I knew you'd pull it out. So well done. So I think it's going to be an interesting evening, that one, Friday the 12th of August. And there's a bit of referee talk in there, and of course, we all have problems with referees and rules and VAR. So it'd be a way to sort of get out our anger or our questions, or maybe get a bit more understanding of what's going on behind the scenes.
He's very good on he's very good on Twitter, Keith Hackett. Is that right? He gets involved a fair bit with what he thinks on the controversial incidents of the weekend, that kind of thing. So yeah, he's still got a lot to say.
Do you know if he's a northerner, where he's from?
I think he's from Sheffield, wasn't he?
Sheffield, that sounds right. Yeah, Sheffield.
Yep.
So a bit of a big game for him, wasn't it, to be in charge of the 81 final? We've all got great memories of that. Ricky apparently is coming over in mid-August and then through September. So I've got him and Ozzy doing a talk for me to raise money for charity down in Bridgewater. So I'm really looking forward to that one, of seeing Ricky again and going over old times and good moments in all our careers. So thank you for listening, Howard. Great to have you back. Your loan period was successful.
Thank you. Yes. I got one word on Terry Neill.
Please.
We all regarded Spurs as the attacking team and Arsenal as the boring defensive team. Yeah. So Terry keeps coming into this, referred to him as Terry Neill.
Well, Terry Neill, please rest in peace. Rest peacefully, sir. Thank you for how you helped my career along. And actually, we were in trouble. Okay, it was only start of the season, wasn't it, when they made the change? But we were in trouble and eventually got out of it at the last game of the season. Mm-hmm. And then the next season, that was the first full season of Terry Neill, we finished 9th, which is not good enough. But having missed relegation on the last game of the season the year before, that was quite an improvement, I think. So God bless you, Terry. And thank you, Tom, for your work.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me as ever.
How's the family?
They're all well. But yeah, the dog's had quite a baptism of fire with my 5-year-old daughter, Jessie, who just will not leave her alone, which is good though, because it means she's knackered and sleeps through the night. So we've had 2 pretty good nights with her so far. But yeah, they're all well. Thank you. Hopefully you'll see them tomorrow.
Yeah, and you're going to send me some names, Tom, of guests.
Yes, I've got a couple.
Well done. Okay, viewers, thank you. Listeners, thank you for your listening. Good luck against Roma, against Mr. Our ex-manager. The what does he call himself? The special one. Yeah, the special one. Well done, Mourinho. Okay, thanks for listening, and see you next week. Bye, chaps. Thanks for your input.